Hi everyone, good morning. It's Erin Scott here. So we have a new moon today in Gemini, and it's a potent one. In the last 24 hours, I've had various things occur, very profound revelation yesterday, and this morning woke up with a very, very unusual experience. So I'm recording this for you today, Friday, May 22nd, 2020. The actual point of the new moon is happening at 1:38 p.m. Eastern time today. So it's happening in a few hours. By the time this gets uploaded, we will be at the moon. But the activation is now for the next week and for the next month. This new moon is seeding a new alignment, a new monthly cycle of growth. That's what new moons do when the sun and moon come together. So let me do something here. We're going to look at just a couple things. This will be a relatively brief video, hopefully. But we're going to look at the symbology for it as well. But first I want to talk to you about some of these activations. Firstly, we have the sun and moon coming together at 2 degrees Gemini. Okay? And number one, we only have one Gemini new moon a year. And when the sun moon come together in Gemini, this is an opportunity now and for the next month ahead for a new level of alignment. Alignment with what we think, and how we communicate. Okay? What is it that we focus our mind on? What kind of processes is the typical for your mind? Everybody's mind operates by default, in a different way, in a distinct way, according to your natal blueprint. Okay? But that natal signature, the encoding that you were born with, the way by which your mind naturally operates, is a living system. Your blueprint is a living system. You're here to grow and evolve, to participate in the natural evolutionary impulse of your story. And what that indicates is that we all have room to align our minds and to align what we think with what we speak and what we speak with what we think versus not doing that, versus thinking something and speaking something else in order to what? Appease other people, in order to be liked, in order, whatever it is. So alignment of mind, alignment of mind and speech, alignment with what it is that we speak in the networks and the what is it that we're sharing? What information is it that we're sharing? There's alignment that's called now. Every year at this time, it's the same. The interesting thing about this new moon, everybody, is that it's at 2 degrees. Sun and moon at 2 degrees Gemini. 2 is inherently representative of relationship, balance, harmony, peace, dynamic equilibrium, justice, fairness. Okay? There's a feedback kind of inherent with the number 2. So number 2, balanced mind, heart, balanced inner and outer, balanced thinking and speech, alignment. Okay? So there's a balanced mind speech that's coming about. There's a more intuitive capacity, a more intuitive functionality of mind that's coming through the number 2. The number 2 in the major arcana of the tarot is the High Priestess. And this is about the function of human that has to do with reception, receiving storyline, receiving energetics, receiving information from the collective, from the consciousness field. Number 2, the feminine. So there's a certain level of alignment here to our feminine functionality, our intuitive functions, and our emotional functions. Emotional intelligence. I'm going to repeat that. Emotional intelligence. Intuitive wisdom. These are part and parcel to how humans navigate this earth. Analysis is one of multiple ways by which humans know the world. One way. Yet we have made it king, which is inherently a mistake because it becomes imbalanced then. So this is a time in 2020. We have the 2-2 happening on today, 2-2 happening in a year, 2-2, that is all about the feminine. It's all about grounding. It's all about mastery. It's about a new level of harmony when it comes to the mind. In addition to this, everybody, because there's a few things to talk about here, but look at what we have going on simultaneously, part and parcel to the storyline of this sun-moon alignment, this inner and outer alignment, this new moon, this new seeding point of mind. What is it that we also have here? We have Venus and Mercury. Venus and Mercury both at 20 degrees, 2020, 2-2. So here we are, 2020 vision is at hand here, especially when we're talking about Gemini. Do you understand? There's clarity here. Now, let's talk about some of the dynamics. With regards to the sun-moon, we have these trines activated up to Saturn and Pallas Athena. Now, in fact, these trines are also connected to Pluto and Jupiter. So Pluto, Jupiter, Pallas Athena, and Saturn in Capricorn and in Aquarius are all trining in harmony to this new alignment, let's say, or the potential for new alignment. The potential for new alignment. The energy is calling for alignment, but it's our free will choice whether we go with that natural flow or deny it. So the harmony here, the harmonic energy flow between transformations and secrets being unveiled about new truths and new truths being insisted upon by the powers that be, in addition to the control mechanisms happening with regards to society, such as the stay-at-home directives that are happening globally, all of these things are, let's say, catalyzing a certain level of prompting of people to come to a new state of balance when it comes to their thinking, their thought processes, their habitual mind. You understand? The things happening collectively are impacting the desire of the individual to create a level of balance. This is beautiful. Now, if we go over here to that Venus Mercury at 2020 or 2-2 or both right there at 20, this is about the potential. 20 is the potential for harmony. What we think and what we value. What do we think about money? What do we think about money, abundance, financial security, beauty and comforts, having what we need? What are our thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about that? What do you actually believe about these things? And where does your mind leak energy thinking about these things, especially in these times when 40 million people, 36 or 40 million people are out of work? What are your thoughts? What's your ethic? What's your value system? What is your aligned inner and outer expression with regards to your value system and with regards to the comforts that you'd like to manifest for yourself? There's changes happening with our reality, and there's new thinking potential that's activated here. There's a new thought process that might be activated for you now. This is part of the revelations that can come about if you're open. 2 and 0 is about harmony potential. But what do we have here, everybody, with this? We have it squaring 20, a 20-degree Neptune. There's a potential for delusion here, some sort of a light washing, perhaps, some sort of a delusion as it relates to God's spirit collective process. Something that is potentially activating opportunistic people when it comes to money from through networks. Let me explain because I don't think I'm being clear. The square activating with this 20 Venus, Mercury, and 20 Neptune talks about some sort of deception that's possible with regards to money. Communications coming possibly via mail or email or phone call or social networks that's going to ask for money, but it's based on some deception. This is an activation that's, it's a possibility. So it calls for discernment. There's a call for discernment to be developed now. When it comes to the collective experience that we're having, and when it comes to the seeking the ideal realities with a level of matured discernment as it relates to the values and our thoughts around the money that we are actually working with here. Thoughts around love relationships, thoughts around creative expression, beauty and aesthetics, and issues of the feminine in general. Thoughts about the feminine are actually up, and there's a level of perhaps deception, illusion that can be impacting some people's minds at this time. Okay? So there's an opportunity here for discernment. There's an opportunity to really, truly, authentically connect in, to have your mind and communications focused on an ethic and a value system that is not deceptive, that is not opportunistic in the face of the changes happening with, our reality. Okay? I hope that makes sense. There's a potential here for a greater level of discernment for some of you. And for some people out in the world, there's opportunistic marketing mechanisms that are going to be looking at ways to make money. People are going to be very focused on money now. And it's going to be very much activating a lot of deceitful activity, deceptive activity, that's going to happen at some level with some people, with some populations. So be mindful. You're the one to make sure that you're clear, that you are the one being activated by this square, being charged to get more spiritually connected, to connect in to spiritual truths underlying the realities that are playing out correctly, by the way. So, with all that being said, there's also something that I want to show you here. Okay. So, if we look at the sun moon, we have it sextiling the 2-degree Varuna. 2-degree sun moon, new moon, sextiling 2-degree Varuna. Quincunxing 2-degree asteroid Lilith. Quincunxing 2-degree asteroid Lilith. This yod is connected to past patterns of belief, everybody. And the past pattern of belief has to do with I am victim to the powers that be. And this is precisely where the yod is pointing. This is the point of growth. At this, the encoded narrative for this week and indeed this month ahead, the growth is re-believe yourself. Re-believe victim narratives. Re-believe the quote-unquote powers that be. Because there's a potential here to create the ideal in regards to goodness for all. The potential for compassionate a cooperative, creative life for all of our families here on Earth. All of our four-legged and winged and two-legged brothers and sisters. This is a potential to create truth from those ideal realities that are seeds within each of us. We each hold these ideas of the ideal. We each have lived them at some point. So the yod is pointing us to the outlet. Any kind of, let's say, dissonance that we feel between this Sedna sun moon, this is about a lack of trust that we'll be able to align to, I don't know, local living. There's a distrust in the changes financially that's happening. And this is creating, it's not relating well. It's connected by a dissonant relationship to old beliefs of victimization, to the powerful ones, the powerful patriarchy. What is also not connecting well is this kind of the individuated confident expression is also having trouble being fully expressed as it continues to tap into this old belief of I am weak, not powerful, and devalued in creating the structures of life that is of meaning in this world. So, this belief of your disempowerment and the belief that you can't build the thing that you want to build, create the structures that you want to build for your life, for your community, for your world. This belief is what needs to be released. This belief and the rearticulation of that belief is indeed the outlet point for this yod. Rebelieving your value and your empowered ability and skill set and your maturity in creating the structure of life for you, your community, and your world that you naturally are imbued with. So, and then the connection between this Varuna connected to this sun moon, this is a beautiful relationship here because there's a level of creative confidence that is naturally emerging. And now it's connected to some level of local community, it's connected to some level of communication, a new level of thinking about the self, the inner and outer alignment that's more connected to your creative skill sets, your confidence, your individuation, your freedom, your full innocent expression, whatever is true for you. But for each individual, it's different. You all have a different level of expression, a different skill set, a different orientation, a different focal point. It's according to your blueprint, everybody. So let's take a look here. Let's look at what the symbology is. It is quite fascinating. So this is the Sabian symbol for this 2 to 3 degree. So it says Gemini 2 degrees, but of course, as most of you know, it's 2 to 3 degrees. So this is the symbology for, let's move this over. This is the symbology for the moon, the sun and moon. Okay. So the Garden of the Tuileries in Paris, the keynote, the formalization of collective ideals through the application of reason and order to newly discovered aspects of nature. The Garden of the Tuileries and Versailles are typical representations of the classical spirit and its need for order and symmetry. The reign of the French king Louis XIV followed the Renaissance, which was filled with the excitement of a new spirit of discovery and a period of internal troubles. So I'm going to stop there. Does that resonate for anybody? This is, in fact, what we're going through now. This is a time that is filled with excitement. There is new paths being forged here. There's a possibility for discovery, and there's also internal troubles activated now as well. Okay? So I'm going to continue. A reaction had to come to consolidate the gains made by the collective mind of European humans. Such a consolidation usually leads to another extreme. i.e., formalism and often the narrow intellectual crystallization of dualistic concepts. At this third stage of the 13th fivefold sequence of cyclic phases, we see the contents of the first and second stages brought to the state of clear and lucid, but also formalized conceptualization. The heavenly gift bearing Santa Claus has become the paternalistic autocrat, king by divine right. What this is written by Dane Rudhyar. What Dane Rudhyar is talking about with Santa Claus is a previous symbol. Okay? The warm family circle celebrating the birth of the deliverer from wintry darkness is now the court of the king, ruled by rigid rituals. There is clarity, but there is also ego centralization and the worship of formalism. So, what I want to point out is this: when it comes to this alignment, there is a great potential to, with the troubles of the time, however you are associating our current state of reality. For me, I'm not connecting in so much with crises. I keep here people keep, let's say, creating narratives around identification of this time frame as crises. The truth is, there are systems collapsing. We are at a convergence point in our collective human history. There are many systems that are collapsing now and will continue to collapse for the next many years to come. The earth will look different, our systems will be different, civilization is changing. But does everybody identify this as crisis? Is this not just natural evolutionary process playing out? We all have our different realities, but some people really insist upon the narrative of challenge, right? But the truth is that there is function in this process that we're all going through. Whether it was instigated purposely or whether it was emergent, it is correct. And the thing about this kind of the Tuileries of Paris, let me read it. What is it again? The garden? The garden of the Tuileries of Paris. What this indicates, what this speaks to is this kind of control of nature. It's the desire to have things ordered and symmetrical. Ordered and symmetry. Order and symmetry. And there can be this over think of it like a pendulum swing. So in this symbology, this is Santa Claus. This is the symbol that he was talking about. Santa Claus furtively filling stockings hanging in the front of the fireplace. A rewarded faith and spiritual blessings. That's what came before this alignment of this sun moon. What is it now? It's not gifts. It's not this kind of, let's say, giving energy of pure abundance. No, it's some sort of structure that comes. And this can look like a pendulum swing. And this can look like hyperformalism. It can look like ego centralization. It can look like rigid rituals. It can look like the court of the king, which is very interesting when you think about the authoritarian reactionary energetic that's playing out across the planet with different political heads. Okay, so what we're talking about with this alignment is that there is this kind of potential activated for all of us to use the energies of this time, even if they're a little bit challenging, to create order and to create symmetry and beauty, even out of what is the truth of the now. What is the function of this natural process of evolutionary growth collectively that we're all going through? But what it's going to activate in others, everybody, is going to be that hyper rigid, ritualistic, patriarchal process, whatever that might look like. And what we're seeing here with this trine is that this can look like the Capricornian, Saturnian powers that be are going to potently exercise certain, let's say, laws and certain philosophies and certain mass media campaigns to create certain narratives to keep people disempowered. Okay? So it's up to us as individuals here to own our own aspect of this collective story and to work on our own evolutionary behalf. When you change, the collective changes. So this is about internalized process here. There's a possibility for harmony of mind, your mind, your mind. Okay? I'm going to leave it there, everybody. there's a lot here, but I think that gives you a really good picture. I am going to tell you something. I'm going to create another video in the next couple of days. So I'm looking at the clock right now. It's May 22nd, 10:22. Again, emphasizing the 2's. I'm just now looking at the clock. 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. Okay? So just understand that the 22, that 2-2 that keeps coming up, this is about mastery. It's about stepping up. It's about being an example. It's about assimilating wisdom and knowledge and teaching that which you know from a place of groundedness and experience and wisdom. It's not sharing for sharing's sake. It's sharing wisdom that's been assimilated and understood through your own experiences. You all have your own experiences that are valuable. How can you help? How can you serve? How can you help create peace and harmony and balance for others at this time? There was something I was going to say. Okay, we're coming to the end of the Kalsarpa 90-day period. We've been in a 3-month process since the end of February to the end of this month, to the 29th of May. We're ending our Kalsarpa period. This new moon is coming it's the last new moon of this particular period. I'm going to talk more about the end of this Kalsarpa and what is going to trigger the new process for us on a collective level. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Look for that in the next couple of days, okay? The last thing I want to point out is I have a sale happening. So for those of you who are Geminis, who are born under the sign of Gemini, the solar return processes or analyses on video are on sale for $59. Okay, so this is from my newsletter. But if you go to my website, if you go to services, in fact, let me pull this out. Okay, so if you go down here, down at the bottom, actually, here, you're going to see this picture of the pink flowers. This is where the sale lives. And you're going to find this link below the video. Okay, so for those interested, you can go ahead and check that out. In the meantime, everybody, I send you lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.